Yo, what up? With the Switch 2 on the way, most likely, a lot of people are talking about the games. Final Fantasy VII Remake is a rumored launch title, and it was apparently shown off running the Matrix Unreal tech demo. Factor in DLSS and the Switch 2 might be able to run a lot of games well, while having them look good. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to hear about the system itself. Give me more rumors about features like with the DLSS. Is it backwards compatible with Switch games and controllers? Will purchases finally transfer over from Nintendo system to Nintendo system for the first time ever? And there's one 3DS feature I really want them to bring back. Street Pass. The premise for it was very simple. If two people had their 3DSs with them and walked by each other, the two systems would do a little digital high five and transfer data for selected games. Through the Street Pass app, that person's Mii would introduce themselves and tell you what games they've been playing. It can then help you in Street Pass games. Find Me was a small RPG where Miis would level up the more you Street Pass them, which kind of promoted you Street Passing this person over and over again. Best one was kind of like a chainmail game called Puzzle Swap, where you'd spend coins you got from taking steps with your 3DS to unlock puzzle pieces, which gave you a random piece for a random puzzle. When you Street Pass someone, you could select one of their pieces from any puzzle to add to your own. It was weirdly addicting. It was fun working with people in your community to gather all of these puzzle pieces. And there were some puzzles that had pieces you could only get from Miis that were sent from Nintendo. So no matter what, if you wanted to complete every puzzle, you would have to go out with your 3DS on you to get coins and Street Pass people for those exclusive pieces. It was a fun way to work with people you may have never spoken to. With Street Pass, people would develop a weird parasocial relationship with people's Miis. In Find Me, one guy you never met could be your highest level Mii, turning this stranger into your carry for this social RPG. You would know nothing about these people other than the fact that they have a 3DS, they live in your general area, and what your Mii told you about them. I remember when I got my 3DS at launch, nobody I knew had one. It took like half a year for me to finally Street Pass somebody, and I have zero idea who that kid was. I don't even think he went to my high school. I think he went to the neighboring middle school, because I wouldn't Street Pass him during school. I would only see the notification after I got home from school. So that entire year, I would just walk by him on my way home from school without even knowing. It really showed how in sync your schedule was with certain strangers, because you would always Street Pass them at the exact same time. Honestly, it was kind of cool when you noticed that you Street Passed somebody while you were playing your 3DS in public. At least for me, I would always look around to try to see if anyone else had their 3DS out. Hell, I met one group of friends in high school because of something similar to Street Pass in Black and White 2. It had a feature that was very similar to how Gen 6 handled Street Pass. It would tell you whenever someone in your general area was playing the game. There was one day where I was playing it during lunch and someone yelled down the hall, "Who the fuck is Matt?" Everyone I was sitting with looked at me, so I leaned back to see what was happening, and the dude that yelled beckoned me. I walked up to that group and they said that they saw me in game and they were just trying to figure out who it was. That story might be why I love Street Pass so much. Even though it was a Street Pass adjacent thing, it added a social element to owning a 3DS. It was kind of like a social media app, but I found that it led to people talking in person instead of online, because you had to physically be near somebody for it to work. And I'm still close friends with some of those guys over a decade later. And there were other things to Street Pass too. Even Find Me I didn't really mess around with after a certain point. It was mostly Puzzle Swap for me. There were some DLC Street Pass games that I never bought, and functionality with practically every single first-party Nintendo game and a lot of third-party games. But the two things that Street Pass did best was Puzzle Swap, and when people would try to locate another 3DS when that green light came on. As someone who was an awkward dude in high school, it was a very good icebreaker when you would Street Pass somebody. You'd both look up and try to find the other. It was a great way to build a community within your 3DS, and possibly in real life too. If you have any stories about people you would Street Pass but never met, or stories of friends you met through Street Pass, please drop a comment. I really want to hear about these relationships that you built with strangers' Miis, or actual friendships that started with a little green light glowing on a 3DS. I was pretty disappointed when Street Pass didn't come back for the Switch. It felt so free, and then they didn't do it. Especially when early Switch ads focused on you bringing the console out. You'd think having this feature help promote that. But with the Switch 2 and their commitment to hybrid consoles, they can fix that mistake. But there are a few things I would want them to do with it. First off, don't make it a regular Switch notification that pops up on screen. Depending on where you're located, you might be street passing a lot of people, and it'd be really annoying having one part of your screen always telling you, hey, you've street passed John. Use the light that's around the home button that you literally never use. Quick sidebar, I had a feeling that this was a light around the home button ever since I first got a Switch, but like nothing ever used it. And I remember the first time I plugged the Pro controller into a PC and it lit up, I felt so vindicated. It's super weird that the Switch doesn't use it. 2, allow people to transfer puzzle swap data from the 3DS to the Switch 2. Have the systems connect exactly like how you share photos from your Switch to your phone, where your Switch creates a Wi-Fi that your phone can connect to transfer the data. You'll probably have to update 3DSs so they're able to transfer the data, but Nintendo keeps updating the 3DS to prevent people from hacking it, so at least this update would actually accomplish something. 3, let every account on the Switch 2 be active for Street Pass. It would be kind of annoying if only one account had Street Pass active. Also, it would be neat if you Street Passed one console and you just had a family of Miis show up. 4, make it so the Street Pass app doesn't close whatever game you're playing, like with the eShop. So when you do Street Pass somebody, you can quickly go and grab your puzzle piece without closing Fight Crab. 5, more games are going to have Street Pass functionality again, so it's more than just the Street Pass app. And don't limit the amount of games someone can have active for Street Pass. To run through some features that games can have with it, in Tears of the Kingdom, you can launch items into other players' worlds, and those items would fall from the sky in the player's general location. Or have Dark Souls-esque notes you can leave in certain areas. Or bring back the Tingle Bottle or whatever from Wind Waker HD as Street Pass functionality. Fire Emblem can bring back its pseudo multiplayer where you fight AIs controlling someone's preset team. Pokemon already has players running around the map when you're connected to the internet. Just make it so when you're offline you'll see Street Pass players. Also have a friend safari type mechanic that's exclusive to Street Pass, and AI battles that uses teams from players you've Street Passed. The AI battle one is kind of a gimme for every RPG. Mario can bring back its Miiverse functionality from 3D World, except only through Street Pass. There's so many fun and dumb things that Nintendo did through Street Pass that I miss. Mario can transfer ghost data. The possibilities with this are just endless. I honestly think Street Pass is one of the reasons why the 3DS was so loved. It took the act of bringing a handheld system outside with you and turned it into a fun social interaction. It was either a very passive one of just walking by someone, or one that can lead to 2 people talking, depending on how extroverted the 2 parties are. But there was one downside to Street Pass. It lives and dies by the system's popularity. Like I said earlier, it took half a year to get my first Street Pass. The 3DS had a very rough go at it at launch. The system was basically telling me how no one else owned one. I wasn't getting a full line of people in my Street Pass Plaza until Pokemon X and Y came out. Hell, it took me until grade 10 to get more than 2 Street Passes at school. But maybe my area wasn't a 3DS hotspot. I'd imagine Street Pass went hard in downtown cores or college campuses during the height of the system's popularity. And it was really fun during that height. Bring your 3DS when picking up a new game for it and you'd get a full Plaza instantly. I remember I went to the Pokemon X and Y launch event in Toronto with some buddies, a few of them being the guys I met through Black and White 2 Street Pass, and I spent a solid 40 minutes doing Street Pass stuff because there were so many people that brought their 3DSs and there were so many Miis running through my Plaza. I don't know what else to say. It was just a really cool and interesting way to interact with strangers. Sadly, much like that last day you went to the park with your friends for the last time, everything stopped without notice and that little green light never came on again. As someone who had a launch day 3DS and used it until I stopped playing Ultra Sun in 2018, you know, just a solid 7 years, I was able to track the life of the system through Street Pass. I saw it slowly grow over the first few years until it exploded in popularity. And after the Switch came out, I was seeing it die in real time. That's the sad end to Street Pass and the 3DS's life. I remember seeing posts in 2019 of people going on walks through New York with their 3DS on to try to find somebody to Street Pass. Even after visiting the Nintendo store, the light never came on once. People just stopped using their 3DSs because the Switch was out, and it was kind of sad to see. There was a point in time where you would fill up your street pass going through any downtown core. And I'm even curious if I can find one street pass in downtown Toronto right now. Shortly after recording the bulk of this video, I walked around downtown Toronto with my 3DS on me. Took it to the Eden Center, walked through Yonge and Dundas Square, and walked by a few universities. The light never came on. It's not surprising, but it still kinda sucks. Maybe I only want Street Pass back because I have a lot of nostalgia for it, but I truly think the Switch 2 will be better off if they brought it back. It's the best feature Nintendo has ever added to any of their systems. Do you agree? Think I'm an idiot? Comment down below. Dislike the video if your uncle works at Nintendo and he told you they are bringing back Street Pass for the Switch 2, and subscribe for more bad content. Follow me on other platforms if you want. Take care, guys.